Okay, we're happy to be joined now by Arizona head coach Tommy Lloyd and student athletes Bennedict, Mathurin, and Ąžuolas, Tubelis. And we'll open it up for questions.
Well, I'll start off with a statement. First off, it's great you guys put PJ behind this thing there, so I can't see him. He's kind of out of my line of vision right there. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go right to questions. If anybody has a question, please raise your hand. Kevin, up front, we'll start.
Kevin Dan, Pac-12 Networks coach. Welcome to the conference. What has the transition been like for you going from being the lead assistant to being the head coach? And what has practice been like for you as the head coach?
Well, the transition's been great, and I'm thankful. Having been with Mark Few at Gonzaga for 22 years, he put a lot on my plate and really empowered me. And so, it's something I feel like I'm ready for, and I've embraced going on the journey with these guys. I'm thankful these guys decided to stick with me and give this a try. Practice has been good. I mean, we had a really good summer, and even late spring, summer, and into the fall. And these guys have been great. I've thrown a lot at them, and I feel like they're picking up the main concepts well. And now it's we're getting soon to the time to get tested, and I'm looking forward to seeing what those test results look like and finding areas we can get better.
We'll go to Casey in the back left.
Casey Jacobson with Pac-12 Network and Fox. This question is for the players. So, of course, you guys have been asked many times probably the difference between Sean Miller and Coach Lloyd. And we all know that Sean Miller was a really good coach, as is Coach Lloyd. But what is the main differences, the changes that you've seen as a program in the few weeks that you guys have been practicing? And then specifically for each of you, what is your new role this year going to be and maybe changed as it was from a season ago?
I feel like, we have it's two great coaches. We have Tommy Lloyd on my right, who's been at Gonzaga, like he said, for 22 years, coming to Arizona. Just a different style of play, he brought winning into Arizona. Sean Miller did too. But I think it's really a different kind of style of play, and it really fits my game well. So I'm really grateful for that.
This year, I think we'll play in faster pace. I think Coach Tommy Lloyd, he likes to win games. He comes to practices with a smile every day. So I really like it, and personally for me, I just need to dominate, to show my physicality. What can I do defensively? Just make stops, and yeah.
We'll go to Dan in the back right.
Hey, Tommy, welcome to the conference.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Gonzaga, you were one of the highest scoring teams in the country, it seemed like, year in and year out. Can you give us a little preview if it's going to be opened up a little bit at Arizona? Is it going to be a little different style to play? Do you want to get it out and run a little bit more? Just let us know what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, I saw a stat in one of those interviews I did today that Arizona led the conference in scoring last year, at 75 points or something a game. And, listen, I'd love to play in the 90s if possible. But again, I've never focused just on like scoring. For me, it's more about tempo pace to get easy possessions, easy shots. Once we get in the half court ball movement, player movement, and then all you're trying to do is you're trying to get the best shot possible. So, that's going to be the focus, but I just, my core belief is playing fast and getting in transition is one of the best ways to do that. So I think you're going to see a real similar style of play that, that we had at Gonzaga.
We're going to go back to Casey in the back left.
Coach Lloyd, I'm curious, you being at Gonzaga for so long, you guys played a national schedule. I mean, you played almost every program in the country. But going from the WCC to the Pac-12, what is your preparation for like that as a coach? Was it like, do you do a deep dive on some of the other programs in the Pac-12, or did you keep it mostly trying to get to know your guys and watching film on your current roster?
Definitely the latter. I mean, I've really focused on us at this point. You know, and we'll get, I mean, once we get to the non-conference season, you know, we'll, you know, obviously we'll be evaluating ourselves constantly, and then, you know, we'll be watching what's coming down the pipe. And I'm really looking forward to the journey. I mean, what it's going to be like to be playing in the Pac-12, playing that schedule, you know, where, you know, every game's going to be a battle. And, you know, I think that's going to be a great challenge, and I'm not going in with any crazy preconceived notions like I have all the answers. I'm just looking forward to experiencing it, and then, you know, hopefully, you know, and maybe in a year or two, I'll probably be able to give you a more specific answer. But I'm honestly looking forward to the challenge it's going to present.
Go to the back right to Eldridge.
Coach Lloyd, welcome to the Pac-12. I'm not going to bring up that y'all was scared to play Washington there for a few years at Gonzaga. Well, I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, in all seriousness, welcome to the Pac-12. What do you see as one of the major differences? I mean, when I watched Gonzaga over the years, I think you guys won the league like 20 straight years, made it to the tournament 20 straight seasons. I used to joke with some of my buddies, and, you know, Gonzaga folks would give me a bad time because I live in Seattle. Now you're in a conference that I think, honestly, more top to bottom is probably a little bit better. But how are you approaching this as a first time? I believe this is your first time being a head coach, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so how are you approaching that coming into a conference like the Pac-12, having so much success in the WCC as an assistant at Gonzaga?
Well, I mean, I might have to recalibrate what winning percentage feels good, you know, and, you know, but there were challenges. You know, you play in the WCC at Gonzaga. I mean, the things that I think that maybe you guys don't realize, you know, we felt like if we lost the game, home or away, we lost the seed line in the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, there was real repercussions for losing. So we felt like we had to be on every day. And so I think it's going to be similar, you know, and maybe you don't have to go, you know, whatever, you know, 16-2 in conference to get an at-large bid anymore. So that might be nice. But again, you're right. It's going to be tougher on a night-to-night basis. And I totally respect that fact. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that feels like.
The front right to Austin.
Hey, how's it going? Austin Scott with the State Press. Just kind of for the players, you guys both had really good freshman years. You guys won Pac-12 Freshman of the Week, both of you guys. So just without having a chance to play in either tournament last year, coming into this year, is there almost more hunger to kind of get back to that stage where you were last year, or just to even improve even more, just to kind of get yourselves back in that spotlight and back in those tournaments where you guys frankly kind of deserved to be last year, just in terms of overall performance and, you know, wins and losses?
Yeah, of course, we always have to improve somewhere, but yeah, I can't wait for the tournament, and I think we'll play there, and I don't know, just looking forward to play there.
From my end, I think we're still really hungry from last year. You know, we didn't have the chance to play in the March Madness, so like do the Pac-12 tournament. You know, I spoke with the guys, me and Ąžuolas, coming in as like leadership, telling them how the Pac-12 tournament and the March Madness will help us, everybody on the team, and just really excited to go there and show the people the wrong. You know, like we have to prove, like we say, prove the haters. But I really think we have a great chance to make it to the March Madness, and we have a great team this year to make it.
Coach, without naming names, out on the recruiting trail, have you butted heads and run into your old buddies back at Gonzaga? Has that been a little weird? If so,
Yeah, for sure. We have a little bit. It's been weird, but you know, I mean, all these guys you're here with, all these coaches, you're bumping into them on the recruiting trail, and I think, you know, you can be professional about it. You know, we all have hard jobs to do, and you know, I always tell people, recruiting's one of the most humbling things you can do, at least in my business, because, you don't win all the recruiting battles, right? And there is no reward for second place. So, I think as coaches, we generally all have a mutual respect. And I know, how those guys are doing it at Gonzaga, and they're going about it the right way. So, when you're competing against them, that's fine. And that's going to happen if you're both trying to be, two of the better programs on the West Coast.
What's the difference between recruiting a kid to Gonzaga as opposed to recruiting him to Arizona?
I honestly haven't approached it too different. We were recruiting at a really high level at Gonzaga and selective of the guys who went after. And, I've decided to take the same approach at Arizona to start out. And to be honest with you, my first priority was these guys. The guys that are already there. I didn't want to come in and think that, I'm going to clean house and bring in all my own guys, this or that, because, a lot of these things these guys have been through is there's no fault of their own. So I thought the best thing I could do for the program, for myself and for them, was to do a great job with them. And that's been 100% my focus. And we got a great young nucleus that I'm looking forward to growing with over, a couple seasons. And then, we'll sprinkle in some recruits here and there, as needed.
We're going to go back left to PJ.
PJ Carlissimo, Pac-12 Network, NBA Academy, BWB. Ben, both you guys, congratulations on the freshman team last year. But, Ben, your transition, seeing you for a couple of years down in Mexico City, you've gotten bigger. You shot the ball so well last year. How much do you think, like your experience this summer, playing for the U19, how much of that international basketball and playing year-round and playing against, for the most part, older guys in an elite competition, how much did that prepare you for your first seasons at Arizona?
I think when I go way back then, playing in front of, different coaches against different good players, having tournaments. I remember in Rhode Island and Atlanta when I saw you for the first time. I just felt like it was pretty good playing against great players, preparing me for my first season at Arizona. I went with the national team, got to play against different players from different countries, the top players. So it just allowed me to see what kind of players I will be playing in the future.
Ąžuolas, what did you think coming over? How important basketball is in Lithuania and all you had accomplished already before you got here. What were you expecting, and was it different last year, playing your first year in the NCAA?
It was, yeah. It was different because it's a different type of basketball. Here in U.S., we run more. We are more physical. So it was really not that hard to adjust for me because I like to play fast and I like to run, to score. So it's kind of my type of basketball. But this summer I went back to Lithuania to play with my national team. So I just played my game. I just ran the court, and I think it helped my team to win.
T, people pigeonhole you a little bit with the recruiting because you've had so much success internationally, but it's just a lot of people were late to it. We were lucky because we were kind of ahead. We couldn't get local kids. We were ahead of the curve doing it. How important has it been, and how important would you want it to be going forward for Arizona?
Well, I think, it's no secret that, I love international recruiting. I love international basketball. And, it's actually more than recruiting. It's really impacted me as a coach. Studying coaches like David Blatt, Pablo Lasso. That's where I spent a lot of my time, when I watch basketball on my own to learn. I think it's always going to be a part of what I do. But I also understand at Arizona you have to have a balance. We have, I think, 8 international guys right now, and it's great. I'm happy we have every one of them. I don't know if we're always going to have an 8-4, 8-5 ratio. That might flip eventually. But at the end of the day, when it comes to recruiting in this day and age, I think it's just about finding the right guy at the right time, whether it's an international guy, a high school kid, a transfer. You know, I think you got to be flexible, and you got to use all those different pools to find the best guys for your teams at that time. And that's how I'm definitely going to approach it.
We're going to go back to Eldridge in the back, and then we'll come over to Bruce.
Coach Lloyd, I want to piggyback on that recruiting thing a little bit more. Watching you guys over the years at Gonzaga, you know, you guys would get players that I had never heard of before, and when they finished, they were first-team All-Americans. You know, I remember a guy like Dan Dickow started off at the University of Washington, transferred to Gonzaga, was an All-American. Have you been at Arizona long enough to know the difference? Because it seemed like you guys had to sell the top kids on going to Spokane. And this year you got Chet Holmgren over there. Last year was Jalen Suggs. But this is Arizona, which in my opinion, I've been a part of the Pac-12 for 36 years. Post John Wooden, I think Arizona's been, Matt Milback's going to like this, but I think they've been the premier program in the conference since the Wooden era. But have you had a chance to notice a difference being at Arizona so far?
I mean, for sure. I mean, you know, I'm transitioning as a head coach. So the recruiting, have I felt like, you know, kids are just beating down our doors to come there? Not quite yet. You know, I still think we got to get through the NCAA stuff, and all that stuff's got to kind of shake out. And then, you know, we'll get on solid footing, you know. So to be honest with you, that's why, I mean, you talk about these players you've never heard of. I mean, that's something I take pride in, and is the player development piece. And, I mean, hopefully these guys will attest. I mean, we spent a lot of time individually trying to get their games better. I mean, and it's to me, I always think I always want to be hedging my bet on recruiting and player development. And sometimes, you know, the best recruits you get are the ones that decide to go somewhere else, and that kid you've been developing in your program ends up being a great player. And, you know, I definitely want to continue to do that, because I think that's the right way to do it. And, you know, not to say that you're not going to be out trying to recruit really good kids, because you are, but it's definitely going to be a combination of the player development aspect and, you know, hopefully recruiting really talented kids that could impact right away.
Bruce.
Tommy, it's Bruce over at the Daily Star. Was wondering just how, as the fall's gone on and you've had full-length practice now for a few weeks, how much do you tweak your system? And I don't know if that's something you guys did at Gonzaga with the personnel, you know, or if it's pretty much the same. I didn't know, you know, especially these two guys up here, are there certain things they're doing or somebody else is doing and you make some wrinkles, or is that something that?
I mean, I think you always want to have a base way you play, and within that you try to, you know, help guys either develop a skill set that allows them to be successful in that system, or you subtly adjust your system to allow guys to play to their strengths. I mean, I think right now we're still in kind of the whole part of the teaching, you know, where we're kind of putting in, you know, a base set of things and trying to get a lot of things in. And then, you know, I think pretty soon here we'll start breaking it down into parts, and, you know, whether that is finding a post package for Ben, you know, or finding Ąžuolas and elbow ISOs. I mean, I think all those things are going to come, you know, in the coming weeks and months. But right now, I've just been trying to make sure these guys understand how we want to play, how we want to move the ball, the fundamentals that it takes to play within that system, and we've been hammering home, and these guys have done a great job. I mean, I think they've picked it up really well, and you know, not that things don't need fine tuning, but I mean, you know, I feel like we're in a pretty good position, you know, for early October. Ask me that question in a month. I mean, we'll see how I feel.
Okay, that's all we have time for. Appreciate you guys being here, and best of luck this season. Thank you.